Hi, and welcome back to Access 2010. We're going to be moving on with Part 3, Gathering and Entering Data, Step 2. By now, you should have already created the database in Part 2, and you should have downloaded the files from your mobile device to the computer and have your mobile survey answers ready. You're ready to enter the data. You should have had at least 3 sets of data to be entered from your mobile survey. We're going to follow the steps along in our training guide to enter the data. So if your database is not already open, go ahead and open the Survey Says database. And if your table is not open, we're going to go ahead and open it in Datasheet View. There's 2 ways to do that. You can double click and it'll open up the table in Datasheet View, or you can right click and choose Open and open in Datasheet View. Now you'll notice my screen is a little smaller, so I'm going to go ahead and close my navigation pane by using the Move button. Now you're able to see all of the fields that we created in our design view for our table. We have all of the fields that we used from before, our yes/no fields and our lookup wizard fields. So let's go ahead and enter our first person, and that'll be Mary Jones, and she told us she was 35. Now you notice here's our first lookup wizard, and we're going to use the pull down arrow that popped up automatically. Choose the right sex. She indicated that she did have a mobile phone. So how Access knows in a yes/no field whether or not the answer was yes is if it has a checkbox in it. So if someone indicated yes on your survey, then their box will have a check mark. If you leave it empty, as she has not taken BPC or CIS 105, then the box remains empty, and it knows, Access does, that that answer was no. So we're going to go ahead and leave the next one blank. We're going to go over to Expertise. And Mary identified herself as an intermediate computer user. She did allow us to take her picture. Oh, and it looks like my yes/no field didn't show up. And that happens sometimes. So I'm going to pop over to Design View and check and see that it didn't take. So to change that, I'm going to go ahead and click yes/no and then save, because it'll ask me to save it, and then click back to the Datasheet view and say, yes, she did take a picture. And so now we can attach it. You're going to right click the field to access the Manage Attachments window. Go ahead and click it, and the dialog box pops up. We're going to click Add, and then use our Explorer window to locate the image. We're going to go ahead and go into Pictures, and we're going to go ahead and see mine labeled itself iPhone Pics. We're going to go ahead and go down, and I'm going to use this image for Mary. And then click Open, and then click OK. Now you should have 2 more records to enter into the system, so let's go ahead and do that now. We had Paul Smith, who was 24. He did have a mobile phone. He had taken CIS 105. Called himself an intermediate user, but declined to take a picture, and that's okay. And then finally, for our last record, we had Professor Ulick, who is 45, does have a mobile phone, has taken the classes, and calls herself an advanced user. She did let us take a picture, so let's go ahead and find her picture. Now you notice the one from before is not there. That's because it saves to the record and not to the database. Let's go ahead and click Add and locate our pictures again. And there's Monica. Let's go ahead and choose her right there. And then click OK. And that's it. So if you have completed all 3 records, then you're going to go ahead and save and close the table. And then close your database, and congratulations, you have just completed your first database and first table in Access.